Well, we're talking about this today. Big news story. While ministers talk about billions of pounds and tens of thousands of new send places, a big question remains. How do you actually make mainstream classrooms work for every child? For many teachers, that comes down to the tools they have day to day. Now, technology is increasingly being used to support children with special educational needs, from helping non-verbal pupils communicate to keeping children engaged and regulated in a busy classroom. Now, my next guest is Lee Parkinson, MBE. He's a primary school teacher and now trains other teachers on how to use new technology to better support SEND pupils. Afternoon, Lee. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Now, you know, this £3 billion, thousands of places in mainstream school. It sounds like a fantastic headline, but is it good news, Lee?
Yeah, I mean, anything that's going to help teachers and schools at the minute is more than welcome. You ask any teacher, anyone working in a classroom, and they'll tell you that one of the biggest challenges is trying to support the growing number of children with different SEND needs, and it feels almost impossible with the sort of lack of funding and lack of provisions in place at the minute. So reading that news today that there's going to be more investment is something that I'm sure a lot of teachers will really welcome.
So you want the better investment to be able to, because do you feel at this point you're sort of stretched? There's, you know, trying to look after everybody in the classroom. It's very difficult, even in an inclusive setting, to balance everything, right?
Stretched beyond belief. And I think it's one of the biggest challenges for so many teachers who, you know, are going above and beyond. Teachers work more hours than ever before. And it is a massive challenge. And I think one of the biggest issues that's probably unspoken in education is the sort of compassionate fatigue of teaching, where no matter how many hours you put into this job, no matter how much you give of yourself and time you dedicate, you are still seeing that you're not able to provide the right provisions for the children in your care. And I think a lot of teachers take that weight on when it's not them themselves, it's the system around them that's failing the children. And there's only so much a teacher can do in the current system.
So do you think that this new way, scrapping the old plan and coming in, you know, the plan to build these new free schools and do it this way, do you think that's a better option?
Well, anything's going to be better than the current system because it is failing so many children. So, I mean, to actually have the government invest when teachers and schools have been begging for the past, I don't know how many years, is because it's always felt like it's always been reactionary. So, you know, there was data that I came across a while back where the amount of money going in from the system into private SEND schools, and these private companies turning over massive profits and charging so much more money than what mainstream were getting. So if this investment's coming in and it's going directly into mainstream and it's being used by schools who desperately need it, then yeah, I think it's going to be a positive thing.
Okay. I mean, and, you know, you talked about teachers' time and the balance of that. Now, you know, having more places for children with, you know, special educational needs. So, you know, how does that change the classroom? How does that change the teacher's time, like, you know, to all involved?
Well, I think the investment has to come in training staff and providing more staff in schools. That's one of the biggest issues as well. You know, how many teachers, as a primary school teacher, you know, how many teachers have got a class of 35 plus children with no support staff, but growing number of needs? I think the stats are, it's almost 1 in 5 children in England now have SEND. So you're looking at that being 6 children out of a class of 30, which is, you know, a big increase. And so having other adults, trained specialists, and then also the money making sure we've got that early diagnosis, we've got that early support for parents. So it's not too late before the support's put in place for these children to make sure they're getting the best education possible.
You hear that time and time again. Well, I mean, it's been fantastic talking to you. So you think this is the right? This is the right way forward. This is a good turn.
I think it's a step in the right direction. I think we've got a lot further to go as far as making sure this money's used to train staff, to provide the right provisions in schools to support all children. But yeah, I don't think there's any teacher that's going to turn around and say having more investment coming into education is a bad thing.
Well, fantastic. Lee Parkinson, MBE, thanks for joining us.
Oh, no worries. Thanks for having me.
AD Damon at breakfast.